And synchronicity is when the pattern bursts into the visible. It is a message, a symbol, a reminder that you are not alone, that you are seen, that you are guided, not by something external, but by something eternal. So how do you invite synchronicity into your life? You don't summon it like a spell. You create space for it. You become available to it. You become honest with yourself. You face your shadow. You listen to your dreams. You pay attention to what moves you and what hurts as what haunts. You slow down. You observe. You ask meaningful questions, and then you wait, not with desperation, but with openness, and something will come. It may not be what you expected, but it will be what you need. You must trust that the soul has its own clock, that healing has its own time, that meaning cannot be forced, it must be revealed. And when it is, it feels like magic. But it is not magic, it is alignment. It is the moment when the soul and the world say yes to each other. Sometimes, what finds you is not the thing you thought you wanted, but the truth you needed to live. Sometimes, what returns is not the person you lost, but the part of yourself that forgot how to love. Sometimes, what appears is not a sign to move forward, but a call to go deeper. Synchronicity does not obey your ego's timeline. It obeys the soul's timing, and the soul does not rush. It ripens. When you look back, you will see the threads, the signs, the moments you thought were accidents, but were actually turning points, the words you overheard, the book you opened, the pain you endured, the lesson you couldn't have learned any other way. And you will realize nothing was wasted, not the heartbreak, not the silence, not even the waiting, because all of it brought you here, to this moment, to this awakening. And if you are watching this now, it means this message is part of your synchronicity. This is your sign, not because I say so, but because something in you already knows. And that knowing, that resonance, that is the signal that meaning has arrived, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. So what happens after the synchronicity arrives? What do you do with the moment that feels sacred, uncanny, too perfect to be coincidence? That's when your responsibility begins. Because synchronicity is never the end of the story, it is the beginning of a deeper one. It is the door, not the destination. When something meaningful crosses your path, an event, a person, a phrase, you must ask, what is this showing me about myself? Because the outer symbol always mirrors an inner reality. Synchronicity isn't about the other, it's about you, your readiness, your openness, your spiritual ripeness. And what comes to meet you is simply what your soul already called forth. Many people misunderstand this. They think synchronicity is confirmation that their wish will come true. But the truth is deeper, it's confirmation that your soul is awakening. It's the sign that your inner world is aligning with something greater. And that alignment often requires change, sometimes even loss, because the path of individuation, the path of becoming whole, demands that we shed what is false in order to receive what is real. You may be drawn to someone and call it fate, but that attraction is often the pull of the unconscious. It's not always meant to last, it's meant to teach. Every encounter has a lesson. Some are gentle, some are shattering, but all are sacred. And synchronicity is the sacred wrapping around a necessary experience. That is why I always say pay attention to your feelings during a synchronicity. Do you feel awe, confusion, longing, fear? Your emotions are the compass pointing to the meaning. Don't get lost in the surface event. Look deeper. Ask what part of you is being spoken to. What forgotten truth is rising? Sometimes a synchronicity is a message from your shadow. It reveals something repressed, something unhealed, something denied. And the moment it appears in your external world, you are given a chance to make it conscious. And that is the beginning of healing. Other times, a synchronicity is a calling, a glimpse of your potential, a breadcrumb from the self the center of your psyche, leading you toward integration. You see a symbol, a pattern, a name, and it stirs something ancient within you. That stirring is not random, it's recognition. But here's the paradox: not all synchronicities are clear at first. Some only make sense in retrospect, like puzzle pieces falling into place long after the moment has passed. That's why patience is crucial. The ego wants instant meaning, but the soul unfolds in time. Think of your life as a novel written by a deeper author. You are the main character, but not the only one turning the pages. The unconscious is always writing alongside you, guiding, correcting, foreshadowing. And synchronicity is when you glimpse the handwriting of that greater author. It's the margin note in your story, the wink from the hidden order behind all things. Now you may ask, why don't I experience synchronicities more often? But the truth is, you do. You just don't notice them. Not because they're not there, but because your mind is too noisy to hear. You scroll, you rush, you numb, you drown in distractions. But the soul does not speak through noise. It speaks through silence, symbols, and stillness. The more you turn inward, the more you reflect. The more the world reflects you. The outer becomes mirror to the inner, and the universe begins to whisper louder. But if you ignore the whisper, it becomes a knock. If you ignore the knock, it becomes a crisis. The soul will not be silenced forever. Synchronicity is its way of getting your attention before the breakdown, before the collapse, before the shadow erupts. That's why I say, treat every meaningful coincidence as a clue, not a conclusion, but a compass. It won't tell you the destination, but it will show you the next step, the next risk, the next healing. And once you take that step, another sign appears, then another, like stepping stones across a river you didn't know you could cross. This is the way of the soul, not a straight line, but a spiral. Each synchronicity leads you deeper into your own mystery. And the more you trust it, the more the world becomes alive with guidance. People ask me, is the universe really intelligent, or am I just projecting meaning onto random events? But that's the wrong question. Because meaning is not an illusion, it's the foundation of the psyche. The unconscious doesn't just create symbols, it lives in them. Dreams, art, myth, story. That is the language of the soul. And synchronicity is how that language leaks into reality. You are not a machine.
You are a symbol-making being. And when you become conscious of this, the world becomes sacred again. You begin to live mythically, not just materially. You see with symbolic eyes. You hear with a deeper ear. And in that state, everything becomes meaningful. A song on the radio, a phrase on a billboard, a stranger's smile, a child's question. They're not just moments, they're messages, threads in the great tapestry of your becoming. But remember, the meaning is not in the event alone. It is in the relationship between the event and your soul. What this means is that synchronicity is always subjective, personal, intimate. What awakens one person may pass unnoticed by another. And that's okay, because the message wasn't meant for them, it was meant for you. So don't let others dismiss what you know in your bones to be sacred. Don't let them shame you into silence. If a moment touched you, changed you, then it was real. Because truth is not just factual, it is experiential.
You are allowed to believe that you are being guided. You are allowed to trust your intuition. You are allowed to see patterns, meanings, signs, even if others can't, especially when others can't, because this is your path, your individuation, your becoming. And if you honor that path, if you walk it with courage and humility, you will begin to notice that life is not just something that happens to you. It's something that responds to you, mirrors you, dances with you. And that dance is synchronicity. You don't need to understand it fully. You just need to respect it, to listen, to respond when it arrives. Because when synchronicity strikes, it is not just about what you see. It is about what you do next. Do you open the book, make the call, leave the job, start the painting, forgive the person, or do you dismiss it as chance and miss the miracle? The choice is always yours. Synchronicity does not control you. It invites you. But if you keep showing up, if you keep doing the inner work, the invitations become more frequent, the path becomes clearer, the soul becomes louder. And one day, you realize you're not lost. You never were. You were simply being led gently, mysteriously, perfectly. And everything that needed to find you did, at the right time, not a moment sooner, not a moment too late, just when your soul was ready. And if you're hearing this now, then this is your moment. This is your invitation. This is your synchronicity. So pause, breathe, feel the resonance in your chest, and listen. Something is finding you. Now, let it. Synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see. Carl Jung. Have you ever felt like the universe sent you a message that was meant only for you, a chance meeting, a number repeated in strange places, a dream that echoes a future event so perfectly timed, so deeply personal, that you wonder, was it really just coincidence? Share your most powerful synchronicity in the comments. And stay with me until the very end, because this isn't random. If you're watching this right now, something is trying to get your attention. There are moments in life when everything seems to line up, not through logic, not by cause and effect, but through a deeper intelligence, one that operates beneath the surface of your waking mind. You might call it fate, or destiny, or simply timing. But what if it's something far more mysterious, something ancient and deeply human, something I called synchronicity? Synchronicity is not magic in the way we usually imagine it. It's not sorcery, nor is it superstition. It is a principle that unites the inner world and the outer world, not through causality, but through meaning. And when you begin to truly observe your life, you will notice meaning has a pattern, not in every moment, but in moments that matter most. When the soul is ready, when the psyche reaches a tipping point, that's when synchronicity arrives, like a whisper from the cosmos, like a thread between the visible and the invisible way. In my work with patients, I began to notice something peculiar. People would speak of dreams that eerily aligned with events that had not yet happened. They would describe encounters, symbols, numbers, animals, and images that reappeared in their lives as if called forth by an unseen intelligence. They would say, "I was just thinking about this," or "I don't know why, but I feel like this means something." And they were right. It did. You see, we are not disconnected from the world around us. We are embedded in it. The psyche is not sealed off from the cosmos. It is in constant dialogue with it. We are dreaming while awake, and sometimes the dream spills out into the world, manifesting in curious ways. What you call coincidence, I call synchronistic alignment. A meeting of two events, seemingly unrelated, bound not by cause but by purpose. A woman dreams of a scarab, and the next day a scarab beetle taps at her window mid-session. A man thinks of a friend he hasn't seen in years, and moments later he runs into him on the street. You think of a book, a song, a word, and it appears not once, but twice. Then again, why it is not enough to call it chance? That is too easy, too lazy. The psyche is not interested in randomness, it is interested in revelation. And synchronicity is revelation disguised as coincidence. But here is what most people miss. Synchronicity is not entertainment, and it is not there to amuse you, and it is not there to prove something. It is a call, a signal, an invitation to awaken. And if you ignore it, it does not punish you, but you may miss the path it was trying to light for you. There are times in life when you feel stuck, lost, or broken. The ego has no answers. The logical mind is exhausted. And then something happens. A symbol appears, a door opens, a stranger speaks the very words you needed to hear. A book falls from a shelf. A memory returns. A sign. You call it random, but deep down, you know it's not. These are the moments when the unconscious reaches out to guide you not with force, but with poetry. The psyche does not shout, it whispers, and synchronicity is one of its most elegant whispers. But understand this, not all synchronicities are soft or sweet. Some arrive in moments of crisis, when a relationship ends, when you fall ill, when you lose your job. These too are synchronistic because they carry meaning and they open you, they break you only to rebuild you in truth. I do not mean to say that every event is synchronistic. There is noise, and of course, but there is also music. And if you learn to listen, truly listen, you will begin to discern the difference. Synchronicity happens when your inner world aligns with your outer world in such a way that you cannot deny the meaning. It is not cause and effect. It is a causal connection through meaning. It defies logic, but it never defies truth. And truth is not always rational. It is symbolic, archetypal, mythic. When synchronicity strikes, you feel it in your body, in your soul. It's a moment outside of time, a numinous moment, a sacred moment, and it always arrives when you are most open, most broken, most ready. If you try to chase it, it will evade you. But if you surrender to the process of your life, if you engage in deep inner work, then synchronicity becomes more frequent. Not because you're summoning it, but because you are finally in tune with the deeper order of things. You see, life is not chaos, is not mechanical, it is a living mystery. And we are not machines. We are mythic beings, walking through a symbolic landscape. Every person you meet is a mirror. Every encounter, a potential initiation. The psyche has a way of preparing you before an important encounter, a dream, an emotion, a strange sense of déjà vu. And when the moment comes, it is as though something ancient recognizes itself, a reunion, a recognition, a knowing. This is why it is said what you are seeking is also seeking you, because the path is not just outside of you, it is within you. And when your soul aligns with your readiness, the world responds. This is not just spiritual poetry, it is the architecture of the psyche. The soul knows and the soul remembers, even when the ego forgets. In dreams, we rehearse the future. In emotions, we forecast what is to come. The unconscious sees patterns long before the mind catches up.